Hello guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. As you all know, my name is Yahaya Dorothy. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to cut and sew this cowl bubble dress with a waistband. If you notice, the front waistline is fitted. This is because of the waistband attached to it. So if this is something you're interested in, make sure you watch this video to the end and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Now let's get started with the video. So guys, this is the fabric that I'll be using for this tutorial. I'll be using an Ankara print. As you can see, what I'm having here is 5 yard, but I didn't use the entire 5 yard. I think I used about 3 yards to 3.5 yard. I'm not really sure again, and that was because my client is tall and she wanted the bubble gown very long. Now if you want to recreate something like this, I will advise you should not use Ankara print because I don't like the effect of the cowl on the side. I wanted mine to fall very well, and Ankara will not give you that. Instead, use shaky crepe fabric, duchel silk, or even chiffon material. Okay, now let's take this fabric over to the floor to cut because this table will not contain it. So I'm going to fold this Ankara print by the edge. So I'll fold this fabric into 4 because I'll be cutting the front and the back parts together. So this is how to go about it. Pick the 2 edges, then place it together like this. Then I'm going to fold this over again, making it 4 fold already. So I'll arrange this fold on the floor like this. So while you are arranging this on the floor or on your table, make sure you take your time to arrange the edges, the borders properly. Okay, you wouldn't want to ruin your fabric after all. This point right here is where we'll be taking our measurement from. So this is going to be the starting point or the shoulder line. When I measured this, I had about 31 inches, which is just enough to accommodate the sleeve because we will be cutting this together with the sleeve. So the first thing we're going to be working on is the neckline. So here on the starting line or on the shoulder line, I went on to mark the neck width measurement that I'm working with, which is 3 inches. For the neck depth, I came down by 2 inches from the shoulder line. This neckline measurement is for the back piece. Now I'm just going to use my chalk to connect these 2 points together to create a round neckline. As for the front neckline, from the shoulder line, I will come down by 3 inches and I'll make a mark. Then I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect the 2 points together to create a round neckline as well. Half of the shoulder measurement of this dress is 7 inches, but we will not be marking the shoulder measurement because it's not necessary. So I just went on to mark the sleeve length, and the sleeve length measurement that I am working with is 13 inches. To slanting the shoulder, on this point I marked the sleeve length measurement. I came down by 1 inch. Now I'm just going to use my ruler to connect this point to the neck width. For the sleeve opening, on this point I slanted the shoulder. I will come down by 10 inches and I will make a mark. So now I'm just going to use my ruler to connect the 2 points together on a straight line. Now from the shoulder line, I will come down by 40 inches and I will make a mark. And I'm going to use my ruler to connect this point on a horizontal line. Now on this new line, I'm going to mark quarter of the hip circumference measurements that I am working with. Then I added 5 inches extra allowance to it. This is because it's a bubble dress and it's expected to be free. Now to create the armhole, on the sleeve opening, I'm going to come in by 3 inches. Then I'm just going to use my chalk to create a curve like this. That is the armhole curve. Then from here, I'm just going to create this curvy line to create the cowl effect from the armhole all the way to this point right here. So depending on how full you want your cowl effect, that's just how you're going to curve it. Okay, now from this point I marked the hip measurement. I'm just going to use my ruler to connect a straight line all the way down to the length of the dress. Now let's go on and cut this out. This shoulder slant that I mark, I decided not to cut it because I don't want any shoulder joining at the shoulder, but you can decide to cut it out, then go ahead to join the shoulder line. So what I'm going to do next is to cut the back neckline like this. Like I said before, the shoulder slant right here, you can decide to cut it out, but for me, I'm just going to leave it like that because I don't want any joining around the shoulder line. So now I'm just going to separate the front from the back piece so that I can work on the front neckline and also the band. So since the shoulder lines are both joined together, I'm just going to arrange the front and the back piece this way. I will do this by joining the both sleeves together like this, arrange it properly. Then I went on to arrange the both side equally as well. So take your time to arrange everything very well before you alter the front neckline, okay? This front neckline measurement, it's not necessary to cut it out. So to create the band that run through the neckline all the way down to the length of the front piece, I'll be maintaining the neck width measurement. I'll place my measuring tape like this and I will measure the 3 inches neck width measurement all the way down to the length of the front piece. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect all these points together on a straight line. So now after connecting the points, I'm just going to use my scissors to cut it out like this. So guys, that's pretty much about it. We'll be keeping this piece one corner because we'll be using it later to cut out the band. Now I'm going to arrange the both pieces together, right side facing each other. After arranging this way, I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and I'll be stitching the both side by 1 inch sewing allowance all the way down to the length. So guys, this is what I have after I was done stitching the both side. Okay, so what we are going to do now is to create the band that run through the neckline at the front, and to do this I'm just going to measure around this opening at the front. So before we do that, we need to take the measurements that we cut out from the front piece. So I'm just going to open up this piece like this and I measured it, and when I measured this I was having 6 inches. So the width of the band is going to be 6 inches. While for the length of the band, I'm going to measure around this opening just the way you see me doing. So when I measure from this point all the way like this, I have the first 60. Then I measure from this point again all the way like this, I had another 60. That is the full length of the tape, making it a total of 120. Then I went on to measure the remaining one and I'm having 11 inches right here. So the length of the band is going to be 131 inches long, but I'm going to add extra 5 inches to it just in case I don't want to have any shortage on the band. Okay, so I'm going to be using this measurement to cut out the band. I'm done cutting out the band, and as you can see, I iron paper gum on it just to give the fabric some strength. The width of the band is 6 inches when I measured it earlier, but when I was cutting out this band right here, I added 1 inch to it, making it 7 inches. The 1 inch that I added is for the sewing allowance, while the length of the band is 137 inches. Now I'm going to fold this band into 2 equal halves to mark the neckline measurement. To measure your neckline, you will pass your measuring tape around your neckline like this in such a way that you are able to wear or remove with ease without zipper or button. So when I measured it, I have 23 inches. So here on the band, I'm going to divide this 23 inches by 2. So when I divided it by 2, I had 11 and a half. So on my band I marked 11 and a half inches. I'm just going to use my ruler to connect that point horizontally like this, and after that I'm going to measure the length where the slit is going to start from. Okay, so from this line that I mark, I came down by 35 inches and I make a mark there. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect the point horizontally like this. From this 35 inches mark downward is going to be for the slit. So now I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch from this point to this point, that is from this 11 and a half inches all the way down to this 35 inches mark, and make sure you are stitching along this grease line. So guys, this is what I have after I was done stitching along this grease line. So the next thing I'm going to do is to turn this over like this. So this is what I have after I was done turning this over to the right side. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go to my ironing table and iron this flat. This is what I have after I was done ironing. You can see how neater it has become, and this is the neckline. Now I will fold this band into 2, then I will notch the midpoint. I will keep this band aside, then I'll do the same thing to the dress. I will simply fold it into 2 like this, then I will notch the midpoint around the neck area. Now I'm going to place the notch point on the band on the notch point of the dress. Then I will use my office pin to hold it down. After that, I'm simply going to arrange the band on the dress like this, just the way you see me doing. Then I will use the office pin to secure it all the way around. Feel free to do the same thing. You can go ahead and pin your band on the dress using your pin, or you can decide to sew this directly on the sewing machine. After pinning this part, I'm going to turn the dress and the band on the other side, and I will continue pinning all the way down to the length of the dress. After pinning this all the way down, the next thing I'm going to do is to go over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch this band around the dress. So guys, this is what I have after I was done stitching the band around the dress. When I was done stitching, I had excesses on the length, so I just used my scissors to cut it out. Now I'm going to turn this over to the right side so that you see what it looks like. And this is what it looks like on the right side. You can see how neat and how beautiful it is. Now let's work on the waistband. I have these pieces cut out that I'll be using for the waistband. The width is 4.5 inches, while the length is 23 inches, as you can see. Now I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine, and I will sew the edge slanted like this, and I will also sew the side, leaving the other edge open. Then I will do the same thing to the second piece as well. And I also have this band cut out that I'll be using for the sleeve. The width of the band is 4.5 inches, and this is on fold, while the length is just enough to go around the sleeve. So now I'm just going to place the band around the sleeve like this. Then I will use my office pin to hold it together. So this is how I'll pin this all the way around the sleeve, and when I'm done, I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch it. I will do the same thing to the second band as well. I'll place it around the sleeve, then I'll go ahead to stitch it up. So guys, this is what I have after I was done placing the band around the sleeve. You can see how beautiful it looks. Now let's continue working on the waistband. So here is my waistband. This is when I was done stitching it up. I blocked the edges, then the side. On this edge that I sew slanted, I'm just going to trim it off to reduce bulkiness, and I'll do the same thing to the second band as well. On this second edge that I left open, I'm just going to use this opening to turn the band to the right side. After turning this to the right side, I'm just going to use my scissors to push out the sharp edges. So this is the exact way I'm going to turn the second band to the right side, and when I'm done, I'm going to take it over to the ironing table and iron it flat. And this is what I have after ironing. So now let's place this band on the dress. The first thing I'm going to do is to turn this dress over to the wrong side. This is when I'm done turning this dress over to the wrong side. I didn't film that part because I don't want this video to be too long. On the waistline, at least I can see the waistline here, and if you don't know how to go about it, go ahead and measure from the shoulder line of the dress to your waistline. Then on that waistline, you're going to divide your waist circumference measurement by 2, and you'll mark it on both sides. Make sure you shock that point very well so that it will be visible enough. Now I'm just going to place my band like this on that point that I shocked. You can go ahead to use your office pin to pin it down, or you can just leave it like this and just stitch it over the sewing machine. Then I will place the second band on the second point like this. Use the office pin to pin it down, or just stitch it up. So now let me take it over to the sewing machine and stitch this up. So guys, this is what I have after I was done stitching the band. Now the last thing that I'm going to do right here is to fold the edge. Now I'm going to double fold the edge. So I'll first of all fold it in like this, then I'll fold it again. Now I'm going to head over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to run a stitch all the way around it. And that's pretty much about it. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.